So there was a period in my time, a couple of years ago in 2019, where I was very much into becoming buff and ripped, right? So apparently when people don't get the sense that they're important, so everybody has like an innate desire to be important in their life, right? Like, I'm important. And if they don't get that feeling from their daily life, from whatever they're doing, they try to overcompensate. So most people who go to the gym, right, who are in the gym and who want to have a great body and, let's say, achieve aesthetics beyond just the functionality of it, being healthy, because you can be healthy and then you can be super fit and then you can be like athletic, like elite level. So there's like gradations to it. And like mostly people who are about, having like this perfect physique, which I had like this desire, it's about you wanting to feel important because you know that is valued. So you know, if I have that body, if I have that physique, people will look at me. People will think I'm important. People will appreciate that, right? And you feel good about yourself then, because you identify with that. It's where you get your self-confidence from. But inside, it's like your confidence, it's built up on this thing which is ephemeral, because you could get sick one day, or you might get an injury, or you might not be able to work out anymore, or whatever, and all of a sudden it will all shrink away, and then what? You're not confident, right? All your self-confidence is gone and you're just depleted. And that can happen. So while I was doing that, I had this strict routine. I was working out every day or every 2 days. I was meditating every day for hours, doing self-inquiry, doing Kriya Yoga. I was eating very healthy, very strictly. I had this very strict regime to which I held myself to. And I was actually like, I was thinking like, I'm progressing. But then there came a point where I realized I was ignoring the signs from the universe that were calling me to go on adventures, that were calling me into the unknown. And I was like, every time that came up, I was like, no. I have this routine and I'm becoming better at it. I'm growing, I'm progressing, I'm developing, right? It was very safe and comfortable for me, but because all I had to do was just go through daily routines, and I would see that I was like developing. I was becoming more immersed in it, and I was becoming strong. My physique was better. My meditations became better. Everything was like becoming more refined, more, let's say, perfect, right? To reach for that perfection. But then I felt it in my heart. There was that aching, like things came up, a retreat here, an adventure there, travel there, meet those people there. And I was always ignoring that because I thought, I'm in isolation, I'm focusing on my inner growth. So I was ignoring life's call. So what happened? Well, one day, I was drinking a lot of coffee that time, by the way, too. So I was drinking coffee, and one day I just had like this inner impulse. I drank coffee in the morning, drank a big cup of coffee, and I had like my morning routine. I'll make a video about that later. And I did my practices, I did my meditations, and I was preparing for the gym. And I thought, like, I really feel energized and good. Should I try to add some more coffee to see if I can get even more energy? So what did I do? I took a caffeine pill. Took it in. I thought, like, this is going to be really great. I have an awesome workout. So as I was going to the gym, I felt like I was becoming lightheaded, and I was becoming like very uneasy. And so in the gym, as I was doing my workout, I became very light in my body. It's like my body was like on this overdrive, and everything became a bit numb, and everything started to shake a little bit. So I thought, like, I'm just gonna push through it. So I didn't realize that I was being dehydrated because I hadn't drank a lot of water. I just drank coffee, and a caffeine pill with a little bit of water. So I felt that something was off inside, like my body was out of balance. It was like I was having this tremor. So I rushed outside of the gym, and because I was having thoughts about I'm gonna collapse here or what. So I started to I got some water and I started to drink a little bit of water. And then as I was going to the city, as I was going home, I was like, I'm gonna go to my mother because maybe if something happens, like she's there. So as I was going there, she wasn't home. So I was at the door and I realized I was having like these deep contractions, these feelings as if something was gonna pop, something was gonna like let go. It was really scary. And so in that moment, what happened? I started to do breathing exercises to ground me, to calm myself down. But these feelings, they kept intensifying. It was as if there was some deep contraction, some deep climax coming. And I felt very afraid, and I just tried to stay calm, but it got worse. It got worse. So I called the ER, and I called an ambulance, and an ambulance came. And as soon as the ambulance came, in 10 minutes, I realized like, fuck, something has gone so wrong. And immediately my mind was like, fuck, why did I take that fucking caffeine pill? Like, why did you do that? Why did you have to push your boundaries so far? Like, oh my God. So as I'm in the ambulance, I realize my chest is getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. It's becoming so freaking tight, and my body feels so numb, and my mind is panicking. So I get in the ER, and they look at me and they're like, what's happening? And I just rolled on the ground and I start to squirm because there's this tightness. It's as if some muscle inside of me is like contracting like this. And it's like, it's one thing if you allow it to happen, but there's the resistance to it. I was like resisting, I was contracting my whole body because I didn't want to feel it. And there was this feeling of like, oh no. I want to hold on. I don't want to have that experience. I don't want to be squeezed out like that. I was so, like, there was so much fear. So my mind, it started to panic. And there were thoughts like, I don't want to die, 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 I don't want to die. And then the next thought came, why don't I want to die? Why? And then I started to see like flashbacks of my whole life. And as I was seeing flashbacks of my life, I had this deep, innocent, like, space of recognition where I just felt, wow. Like, I felt this regret. Like, I've missed so many moments of being vulnerable. I've missed so many moments of loving. Like, and I realized I want to love. I want to live and I want to love more. And I saw all the interactions I had with my partner, and I thought, and I just realized like all the times that I was in this gloomy state, or I wasn't receptive, or I wasn't alive, or wasn't open, I just realized like, I want to do them over. I wish that I was loving in those moments. I wish that I experienced love, that I shared love, that I was love. And there was this deep, childish desire to like, I just want to love. I just want to live and love more. I want to live for that. Please, God, please give me another chance to stay alive and to love. The contraction worsened, and they worsened, and they worsened, and they worsened, and they worsened. And I was like screaming. Like they were not doing anything because they just said, we're going to let it play itself out. So I was like contracting and squirming, and I was crying out for help. And what I noticed was, when that is happening, the best thing that you can do, if you ever experience this, is to just allow it to happen. Don't resist it. Just say to yourself, like, this is okay. I can allow this to happen. Because the more that you tense up and you hold on to it, the more tension that you create inside, and the more stress that there is on the heart muscle, on all the organs. And that's actually more dangerous than if you just allow whatever needs to happen to happen. So the resistance to the experience is what is creating the psychological trauma, and it can cause a physical trauma because it can create scars, or it can create damage, or it can create, yeah, it can create problems. And so I survived that. I was able to, like, it all passed away because I realized, like, okay, it's stopping now. I was drinking water, it's stopping now, it's stopping now. I was being hydrated again, so they let a psychologist come in. They thought I was having a panic attack or whatever. And while I was getting grounded again, I was eating a little bit, I felt okay, and I realized I just had drank way too much caffeine, right? I was stuck for months in this routine, and I had no balance. And as I was eating, I realized how rigid I had become with myself. How, like, I was like a taskmaster who set up this huge challenge to be strict, to be disciplined, to be perfect in all aspects of my life, to become like this very strict human being. And it was a sadness. As soon as I came home, I looked at my partner, looked at my parents, and I started to cry. There was this inner childish feeling of, I'm so sorry for how wrong I was. I'm so sorry for everything that I didn't do. I'm so sorry for letting you down. I love you so much. Like, I was crying it was all just streaming out, pouring out. I was crying on the lap of my grandmother. I was crying with my partner. And I realized, like, I'm alive. I still have a chance. I still have an opportunity to live, to love. And that's what I really want to do, to love. I want to feel love and to have loving experiences, to share love, to create, to generate love, and to give love. And that's, like, I realized that's like the most important thing from all my life that I can do or want to do. Like, I didn't think about my career, my ambitions, my friends, my desires, whatever. All I cared about in that moment was, I wish I was more loving. I want to love more. I want to be in love. And what happened after that was that I became so sensitive to coffee, and I had like this deep traumatic fear, right? Because I had resisted it. I resisted that experience, and I was afraid that something was wrong. So after those, like months after that, whenever I tried to drink green tea, coffee, whatever, I would have like these palpitations or these feelings inside, and they would be so uncomfortable. And my mind started to trigger itself. Oh my God, it's gonna happen again. I don't want to have it. So there was fear. And I was stuck in this loop of fear, of avoid. Every time I saw an ambulance, there was an association. Oh my God, like, I don't want to happen again. Is this gonna happen again? I thought, like, is this a sign from the universe? Like, I was really like traumatized by that experience. And it took me, like, I went to a psychologist, I went to a doctor, and they were all like, you just have to accept. Like, accept. Just imagine that you just died, right? Okay, you're gonna die. Just imagine you're already dead. Imagine for a moment you see this open grave and you see a casket there, and you lie in that casket, and you see your body. You're wearing a costume. You see your face. You see your hair. You see your mouth, your nose, and you smell the earth around you, right? You see the sky, the blue sky ahead of you. You hear the birds, or you hear the quietness, and you realize, it's done, right? He died. And look at that point, from that point back in your life. Just from that point, look at your life, how much you're worrying, how much you're struggling. I remember doing that exercise, and it did help me to recontextualize everything a little bit, but it didn't take away the trauma, because the trauma was deeply ingrained as a reaction in the body. So it took me quite a while to heal that. And how did I heal it? I did transpersonal work, transpersonal coaching, and I revisited that memory, that event, and I had to actually seek out the root program that was running from that traumatic event that was created. And by seeking it out, by going to the core, to the root core, to the cause, I could recontextualize it, I could understand it from different point of views, and then I could give it a new meaning, and the emotion released. And as soon as the energy and the emotion released, the fear, it was like it went away. The memory was still there, but now it was a lesson. Like, be balanced. Don't like push yourself for the sake of discipline, for the sake of rigidity, for the sake of perfection, right? Have balance in your life, because your life is not about becoming some super achiever. Like, what is its worth to you if at the end of your life it's not even that important to you, right? You may think that it's important to you because you want to be important, but in the end, all I wanted was to love, to be love. So yeah, if you can take anything from my experience with this, is that please, if you have any kind of traumatic experience, the best way to go through it is to let go, to tell yourself this will pass and let it go, to trust that whether you resist it or not resist it, the experience will unfold either way. But if you resist it, you will create a traumatic memory. If you don't resist it, you will just have the clear experience. And you, like, those experiences, they freaking humble you. They like, you may feel strong and young and healthy and indestructible and invincible, but when that shit hits the fan, you feel like so floored and so broken. You realize, like, holy shit, in one moment you can just be drop dead and it's all over. There was also a mystical experience that happened, but I'll talk about that in another video. So now, yeah, I cannot drink coffee. Whenever I drink it, like I have like these contractions, and honestly, I spent a year, like, out of fear, doing every kind of checkup for my heart, every kind of imaginable, like, checkup, just looking, because there was this feeling like something has gone wrong. It's not the same as before. My ability to work out isn't the same as before. Like, and there was regret, and there was also guilt. That's like it's as worse or even worse than the trauma itself, is the guilt, because you're then angry at yourself. Like, why did I do that? And now I have these consequences. You're like, you have this guilt and regret at yourself. So you have to learn to forgive yourself also. It's it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about being what you are, going with the flow of life. Because if you stay stuck too long, life will create circumstances for you to push you out of that rigidity. It's like, there's a quote from Lao Tzu that says, what is tight and rigid will break and is dead. What is subtle and gentle is you can bend it, right? And it will endure. And yeah, it's like a mind shift. You have to have this mindset about not being attached to a certain way of doing things, not being attached to being a certain way. It's like you have to be gentle with yourself, and you have to find a way of balance in a gentle way. But that's what we're trying to do every day, right? Work, life, finances, relationships, spirituality, food, whatever. So much to balance. like, you know, those exercises when they draw a circle and they split the circle up in different dimensions of your life, and then you have to assess how active or how successful each dimension is, right? How happy you are with each dimension. And it's like there's so much to balance, right? If you try to do it, I don't know if any of you play the game The Sims, but in The Sims, you know, you have the character and you see all those needs, and it's constantly about balancing everything, right? Sometimes you really have to like you really have to make a choice between either you don't let him sleep for a while to make sure everything is done, or you don't let him go to the toilet, or you don't let him eat, because you're really like prioritizing things, other things. And then the character, sometimes he's looking at you like, I want this, and sometimes he goes in override and he does whatever he needs to do. Yeah, it's like, it was an interesting game to play, because it also let me see what kind of mindset I have and how rigid it is, or was, because it's definitely changed now. Anyway, thank you so much.